Lyndon B. Johnson once said, "Poverty must not be a bar to learning, and learning must offer an escape from poverty." Although America is one of the wealthiest countries in the world, it is still being swayed by the plague of poverty. This plague has affected all aspects of American life, but none have been afflicted as much as the education system. Children of poverty are influenced the most by their surroundings. Unable to be sheltered from the harsh aspects of adult life, these children are made into adults at only the age of 10 or even less. These children are at risk, and their future could be held in one teacher's very hands. The reason I say teacher is because when a child of poverty who has already seen so much, maybe even during the morning before they get on the bus for school, they are still able to be influenced by the classroom. And if a teacher can reach them in that environment, several doors will be open for that child. Something that needs to be recognized is that poverty is not a new problem in society. Matthew 26:11 states, "The poor will always be with you." This quote from the Bible illustrates how poverty has been an issue in society dating back to the time of Christ and has permeated the lives of humans for centuries. Yet why does it still plague us today? Without help, children of poverty for centuries have been in the same broken cycle of being raised and then raising their own children in poverty, because that was all they knew. They had no idea how to get out of the same cycle and become something else for themselves. In order to understand the problem of poverty, especially in the education system, 3 areas will have to be examined: the impact of poverty in the home, the impact of poverty during the school day, and possible solutions mitigating the effects of poverty. Have you ever conned to a phrase that your mother, father, or close relative ever said? That also happens with mannerisms. What you grew up around has a lot to do with who you are. This way of thinking can be compared to the example of if you live in England, you are more likely to have an English accent. In rough neighborhoods, their mannerism is much different than from people from the elite class, meaning that they do not believe in schooling, and they believe that how much school a child attends does not affect their future. These parents believe this because that was the way they were taught from their parents, and that has been a domino effect that has plagued society. It is not just the fact that their parents do not believe in the education system, it is also that poor parents usually spend more time away from the home because they like to ignore their responsibilities and ignore the fact that they do not have much in their lives. Leaving the household for long periods of time gives bad ideas to children because they then believe that it is okay to never be where they are supposed to be. These parents may love their children, but they are not good role models. Instead, they are trying to befriend their children and not set higher goals than the goals set for them. As teachers, it is possible to install goals for the children of poverty, since they have no goals to reach in any other aspect of their lives. They go through their lives thinking that they're going to be the same thing as their parents because that is what their parents tell them. And that is a hard thing to understand, especially when you've grown up around it for your whole life. It becomes a cycle for you. Tests are hard to accomplish without proper cycles such as eating correctly, sleeping correctly, and the lack of a good study environment. These are a necessity in becoming a successful adult. But like said before, parents of poverty do not like to be at home. So children are fed fast food and ultimately do not get any type of nutritious meal. Always leaving the home can cause them to get only 5 to 6 hours of sleep when they should be getting a good 8 to 9 hours of sleep. To fully allow their body to receive that rest, it needs to be able to rest for long periods of time and not be out all night. Adding on to that, adding on to not being able to eat well or have enough sleep, Studying is difficult in the car or in loud, crowded places. The parents of poverty, who are always outside of their home and taking their children with them, are not allowing these children to have a nice quiet place to process things learned at school. That is what is hard to teach, because in the classroom there is a perfect place for a child to sit and totally focus on the assignment given. But once at home, they are allowed to play on their phones, ignore the work given, or go to the movies without discipline. In the classroom, it is possible to stress how important studying is, but if not enforced at the home, the lesson on studying at school will not stick. When living in bad neighborhoods, gangs are extremely relevant. Bad influences mingle in with drugs and violence, and if not stopped at a young age, children can abuse drugs and become gang members or even gang leaders. Throughout this whole speech, I have talked about how it is hard for these children because of their parents. But one of the other big problems included in poverty are the child's peers. Other children in poverty who were taught wrong ways of life as well cultivate these bad habits and allow the problem to grow. Poverty isn't a sickness, but if not treated with high importance, other children can be led in bad ways of life, especially if peer pressure is in the mix. These children are at a young age are talked to with such bad vocabulary. Cussing and slang are used as if it is totally okay to do so. They bring these words to school and think it is okay to cuss in front of their peers and teachers. If the teacher does not handle this situation with extreme caution and teach the child how to speak in such a way isn't right, major discipline issues will erupt. Teachers need to have patience with these children. Even though the child may seem to be full of hatred because of how they act or respond to discipline, those children are who need the teacher the most. Without the guidance of someone who cares about their future, the child will continue to grow through this hatred and will never be put on a path for success. Their parents, siblings, and friends have already cut down all future dreams of being someone. They think that they will never be able to succeed at anything in life. But if a teacher is able to penetrate their disbeliefs and help the child will realize how important they are and how the education system is actually a good thing, and that teachers are here to help that child grow instead of losing hope. Teachers are good leaders and can lead children to new paths in their life. One of the best ways to get involved is to get to know the child, understand their situation, and teach life lessons in the classroom without singling out that certain kid. One of the worst possible things to do is make that child feel alone, because they are truly not. Everyone in your classroom is dealing with a problem of some sort, and they have no idea how to overcome it. And so it is best to make sure the children know that they are not the only ones going through a tough time. Without this reassurance, children can feel depressed and cornered without a way of escaping their situation. They begin to feel as if, wow, what am I going to do with the rest of my life? Am I going to end up like the rest of my family, like they say I'm going to? They have to be able to depend on you, especially since you are a big aspect of their life, even if you are just a semester teacher. You are teaching them life lessons, and that is something very crucial in these kids' lives. Poverty is not an accident. Like slavery and apartheid, it is man-made and can be removed by the actions of human beings. Nelson Mandela. Through the actions of others, the children brought up in poverty can be taught to not follow other influences and become successful in their lives with simple changes such as reaching for higher goals and realizing who their true friends and family are that can help them succeed and being the best they can be. Without that push from their family members, from not just from the teachers, not just from their family, not just from their friends, but from all three of them, when all of them can help that kid, that is so important because without that push, they will not be able to succeed in life. There is no excuse for poverty. Let's start by ending in the classroom today. Thank you.